weekly episode from the Global News Podcast, bringing you positive stories and uplifting interviews from around the world.
I've got some good news for you.
It's a beautiful place to be.
A really good vibe, you know?
It's the audio equivalent of rose-tinted spectacles.
The world's happiest stories.
Your story is absolutely inspirational.
Uplifting.
Remarkable.
Listen now by searching for the Global News Podcast from the BBC World Service, wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome to the documentary from the BBC World Service, where we're looking into the work of some of the trailblazers providing solutions to the world's biggest problems. I'm Harriet Robinson, and I'm going to be meeting female founders working in the very male-dominated world of green technology. In their case, it's the blue economy they're disrupting.
We don't have any problem much when it comes to solar power, so we're trying to utilize that.
We need to find a solution how to maintain the product quality while reusing the production cost.
Knowing they're able to enjoy leisure time now as a byproduct of our solar power bank, it feels absolutely amazing, yeah.
For many coastal regions, the ocean is a hugely important food source, often providing for those who may otherwise struggle to feed their family. But the pressure of supply and demand has left the fishing industry littered with problems that not only harm the environment, but also put people at risk. Now, women entrepreneurs across Southeast Asia are addressing these issues at grassroots. Their work is improving lives, saving money, and reducing the impact of local fishing. So let's follow the fish on their journey to our plates, starting at the source.
Some of the night fisher folks use these really heavy and bulky car batteries that are actually not safe when they go out into the sea. And they use that, of course, if it gets wet, there could be a lot of damages. Then others also just use flashlights, which is not really that helpful in getting as much catch as possible. Well, we basically created a safer, more convenient solar power bank for night fisher folks to use when they're out at sea.
In Mindanao, in the Philippines, Jeriza Molina is one of the people at the helm of Shift Tech Marine, and their product is proving to be a massive win for the fisherfolk who use them. Subsistence fishing employs hundreds of millions of people around the world. It's an enormous business worth trillions of dollars. It's also a dirty business. High-cost diesel motors and expensive, inefficient lights consume huge amounts of fossil fuels, leaving a considerable carbon footprint. Good lighting saves lives, but it also requires a lot of power.
Our fisher folks use the battery at night, and then in the morning they can charge it via the sun, which is actually very prominent here in the Philippines since it's a tropical country. So we don't have any problem much when it comes to solar power. So we're trying to utilize that to charge the battery pack that they can use at night. We have tried to make it as waterproof as possible so that you can use it underwater.
And when the light is good around these islands, fisherfolk are netting fish including putian, samin and lawayan to be sold at nearby markets or on the side of the road. The technology here is a power tube, a PVC cylinder that's about 30 centimetres long and 10 centimetres in diameter and weighing less than a kilo. A good fit for small bankers, the name given to Philippine fishing boats. So, Jeriza, these fisherfolk are out there catching the fish that everyone wants to eat, right? But it's quite hard work and they don't make much money from it, do they?
They really don't, because it really depends. It's not the same every night. If a fisherfolk goes out tonight and he gets maybe around 5 to 6 kilos of fish, the next night he could get around 2 kilos or just maybe 1 kilo of fish. It's not a very stable job.
And how do you know your product is actually working?
Right, so we actually have a test group, one of which is a family based in Bayabas, Cagayan de Oro City. So the father is a night fisher folk, the mother is the seller of his catch.
Maayong udto, sir.
Maayong udto, sab.
Maayong udto, ma'am.
Maayong udto pod.
This is George in Glenda Maki.
Oh, kaya akong naobserbahan kaniadtong gapanagat ko.
George says that he is able to have more catch since before he was only using a flashlight and it does not really have a lot of coverage.
Siya nga, ang kasagara man god katong time bitaw nga naka-testing na mi ani.
Glenda gives an example when, like before, George usually comes home with just around 2 kilos of fish, but now George comes home with around 10 kilos of fish. So with that, they're able to provide more for the family, as well as actually save bits of their income.
It has made a big difference to their life already. And I think Glenda is really capitalizing on the fact that it gives her the assurance that George is safe.
Yeah, I bet. What are some of the other problems, though, that you're trying to solve?
The traditional battery, they're very expensive. So the goal here is to basically lessen this burden. Another thing we're trying to solve here is with better light, they can easily identify if their catch contains bycatch and put them back into the sea.
Hi, I am Giovanni De Jesus. I'm a marine scientist from Oceana, Philippines. Bycatch is when fishers accidentally catch and kill marine animals that they didn't intend to catch. It harms and kills species that are not meant to be caught, so it can also disrupt ecosystems. Bycatch may cause the decline of these vulnerable species. Another big problem in fishing in the Philippines is the use of dynamite. So it's also known as blast fishing or fish bombing. So it is illegal and it's highly destructive fishing practice. So it involves explosives, typically dynamite or homemade bombs, to stun or kill fish in the bodies of water. So aside from killing the fish, they can kill also other organisms. They can destroy habitats like your coral reefs. It is also dangerous for the fishers because it can be blasted as well if you did not throw it properly, for example.
Ay ka mga isda nga binuthan og gasa ng kuan. Ang sa kuha manggod, diferensya jud siya. Ang dynamite manggod.
Glenda says fish caught through dynamite does not look fresh at all, and the fish usually have their guts out. There are traces of gunpowder in the gills. What are customers saying about the produce now?
Diferensya manggod siya. Diferensya ra jud siya ma'am.
Glenda shares that they always ask her for a fresher fish.
We've talked a bit about sustainability. There must be an environmental cost to actually manufacturing your product.
Yeah, it's not always 100%, but we're trying to do our best into being as sustainable as possible. One thing about this is the leftover materials when we create our product. So although we try to only use what we need, there will always be leftover materials for that. But we're trying to recycle, of course.
And I know you're working on more sustainable materials to make the shell out of, as it's currently plastic. But are you working on any other improvements?
Yeah, we always do our best to provide updates for our product. For example, what we're doing right now is to increase the capacity as much as possible.
Para sa mga nga mananagat, kay kinanglan naman mig kung panalitan dagan ng isda.
It would be really helpful for George if by around 4 a.m. the light is still on and then they're still able to get home safely.
Ka nakatry manggod ko ani. Katong time bitaw nga.
Glenda said that having the power bank has actually been really helpful for her. When she was still in the market, she was using the power tubes while she was out selling, and then there was a blackout in the area, and she was still able to sell. The power bank can also be used to be the light of their homes, so they can save electricity from it.
Dako kay kalipay nako nga.
George says that he is very happy now that Power Tubes is able to increase his catch and increase his income. He is able to give his family a better life.
Jeriza, how does it feel to be making such a difference to this family's life?
Feels absolutely amazing, yeah. We're given an opportunity here to change a life of family that will always feel great. In fact, Glenda was able to bring her family to the mall recently due to their increased income. And knowing they're able to enjoy leisure time now as a byproduct of our solar power bank, it really feels good to know.
And it's brilliant they're making more money now, especially as they've got a young family. But do the children also talk to you about their experiences at home and if they think things have changed for them?
Yeah, one of their kids, Whitney, she shared that she wanted to be a doctor someday. It's a very expensive dream, but if we are able to provide the value of our product and lessen their expenses and increase their income, that that dream is going to be very probable in the future.
That's amazing. Just one other thing, obviously after the fish is caught, it needs to be kept fresh. And I've heard your batteries can also be used for that?
Yeah, there's another startup here called Recool Technologies. So right now the fisher folks are using styrofoams and just filling it with ice. Recool is able to create a freezer box that they can use at sea. It is also powered by power tubes, so the fisher folks are able to keep their catch fresh whenever they go back to shore.
Ay parang dili na mo sila madakpan.
George would like the fishes at night to stay awake so that they will be safe from night fishers who is very eager to catch them. So stay awake, fishies.
This is the documentary from the BBC World Service, and I'm Harriet Robinson. So we've heard how solar technology can vastly improve the way fish are caught and kept fresh. But what about when that fish needs to be prepared, preserved, or processed? Let's head west to another Southeast Asian country, Cambodia, where the freshwater fisheries are among the most productive in the world.
Cambodian eat fish around 60 kilo per year per person, while compared to the world average consumption is only 20 kilo.
Okay, that's a lot of fish.
Yeah.
After rice, fish is Cambodia's most consumed product, and Cambodians like their fish dried. This is then used whole or turned into sauces and pastes to be added to be honest, most dishes. Here, the sun has always been used to dry fish, outside in the searing heat, often roadside or on rooftops, which can be rusty. In March, the government imposed new regulations to improve the safety of Cambodian produce. One startup hoping to help is Harvest the Sun, co-founded by Miss Im Soo Kim. Her solar domes make light work of drying fish, but they also come with a whole raft of other benefits, and still harnessing the power of the sun to do the job. These polycarbonate tunnels with steel posts kind of resemble a greenhouse and come in 6 sizes, varying from a tiny 1.8 by 2 meters to a whopping 8 by 27 meters. So what does Soo Kim's technology do?
There are 3 main functions of the solar dryer. One is to increase the temperature. The environment temperature is around 38 or 40 degrees. Inside the solar dryer, it can increase up to 70 degrees without any electricity, only the energy from the sun. And the second function is to reuse the moisture. Like the drying process is about the exchange of the moisture of the product and its environment. So inside the solar dryer, the moisture is just around 10% during the sunny day. The outside moisture is around 65%. So it means that it speeds up the drying process. The third function is to filter the UV. Normally, there's a UV ray in the sunlight. So if you dry your product under direct sun, the nutrient in the product can be destroyed. But if you dry the product in the solar dryer, it can dry faster and maintain its nutrient quality.
Brilliant. And we know it's important to have healthy food and make sure we're kind of keeping all the nutrients inside. But why is that more important now?
Now people learn from COVID-19, so they're focusing on a healthy product, a safer food, and the more you dry the product, the higher the production cost. So we need to find a solution how to maintain the product quality while reducing the production cost.
Well, I know one of the people using a solar dryer of yours is Mr. Yun Samnang, a fish processor based in Siem Reap. So we caught up with him remotely, with me in rainy England and him in sunny Cambodia. And you kindly translated for us, Soo Kim. Mr. Samnang, could you just describe what it was like to do your job without a solar dryer? What would you do?
He
said that first he need to cut the fish, wash it, and then marinate it overnight, and then the next day he start to dry if there is a sunshine. But if there is no sun, he has to store the fish in the cold storage, either use the ice or in the freezer. So this cost him on ice and also the electricity and labor cost. But now he has a solar dryer, so he do it directly after marinated. He gonna start the drying process without any interruption.
Amazing. So this must have made a huge difference to your life and to your work.
It impacts a lot. Once he put the fish in the dryer, he has no concern about the food safety or any contamination happen to his fish product. And this like saving time and saving his attention, and he can work on other things rather than just look or watching the fish drying.
When we talk about the safety of the fish and the potential of it getting contaminated, is this something that you are concerned about when you buy fish?
Definitely yes, because like if the food is unsafe, it can cause the food poisoning, and it's really bad, right? If somebody have that experience.
Hi, my name is Grena Puselvi, the technical lead for World Vision Cambodia's nutrition program and health and nutrition advisor for World Vision East Asia Regional Office. Traditionally, fish is dried in the sun, and this method of drying fish has high potential of being exposed to insects, flies, dust, rodents, and animals when kept under the sun. Improper storage and handling procedures throughout the sun drying process could also lead to the growth of microorganisms that are harmful for human consumption. Since fish is a highly perishable product, it attracts the growth of molds, bacteria, and yeast. This could have adverse effects on humans, causing diarrhea, vomiting, and abdominal discomforts. We do have a lot of foodborne illnesses prevailing across the country, and it is important that we make sure that there is appropriate food safety procedures followed.
So there are some clear health and safety benefits for Mr. Samnang's business. What about his workers? I'm just wondering, is it a better experience for them?
Most of the employees working in fishery sector are women. They have to work hard on collecting the fish, uncover it when it's rain. So now the women put it in the solar dryer and flip it when it's needed, and then wait for it to get ready without any concern.
Yeah, that must be such a relief. But I want to just quickly touch on the downsides to the dryer. Mr. Samnang, what would you like to see improved?
The only thing that he mentioned is like for those who don't want to invest, it might be complicated for them because it requires high initial investment.
So how much do the dryers actually cost, Sukim?
The price range depends on the technology, the location, and also the system they need. So the price range should be $5,000 to $45,000.
Oh, wow. Okay, so there are some quite pricey ones. Do you think that cost is accessible to everyone in the industry?
It looks pricey if you look at the investment at the initial stage, but they normally can lose the fish due to the birds, due to the flies, and low quality products. So you collect the money from the solar dryer every day. I understand that it's very heavy for them to invest all in once, but we're trying to work out how to have the installment payment.
And they've got a shelf life of about 10 years, right? So what happens to the materials when that time is up?
The steel can be recycled, and the polycarbonate sheet, if it doesn't function like to absorb the heat anymore, so I think they can be reused for something else, or maybe they have to destroy it. If we're talking about the environmental cost or impact, I think we should focus on the benefit from using the solar dryer. It saves the food loss, so food loss can create a carbon footprint. Also, it improves the product quality and safety, so it also improves the public health in Cambodia.
Mr. Samnang's produce consists of fish like catfish and pangasius, and this is transported to markets around the province.
Hello, my name is Marie Lab. I am a managing director of Unica Enterprise, and we sell to many supermarkets and natural food store in Phnom Penh. Mr. Samnang is a key processing partner that we work with each other since 2017. Last time when we do the fish processing, for example, like dry fish, we have a lot of challenging regarding the moisture content, hygiene, especially at the raining season. We don't have enough supply for our dry fish to our partner. The market complain about not having enough product, or sometimes we have the product but not in a good quality because of the moisture and because of the smell. Right now, when we use the solar drying dome, it solves this problem a lot.
Mr. Samnang, do you miss drying fish the traditional way?
He said that when he dried the fish and looked at the solar dryer, it reminded him of his past experience about running to collect the fish and cover the fish. And he said that he didn't even have time to interview like this.
I really wanted to bring our founders together for a quick catch-up online to find out more about their experience being women leading tech startups in the region. Firstly, Jeriza, how does it feel working in an industry that's so male-dominated?
It kind of feels overwhelming, especially when we go together, in a group, because sometimes we startups are invited in a program or an event, and then we go in there, and then I see that there are only like a few female founders.
I was in an engineering school, so among all the students, only around 10% are female. Most of the people are male, but I don't feel much different,
Sure. I mean, you two are really inspiring to me, and you're doing something that's kind of breaking barriers, really. How do you think we can encourage more women to do the same thing and get involved in technology and leadership roles?
For me, I think it starts in childhood. We encourage our little girls to go into STEM, and then they're able to have this confidence to be able to be part of the engineering industry or the innovative industry. And then after that, I think we will have more female inspirations.
Some engineering school, they offer like a 50% scholarship to female. It's kind of a message to the younger generation. They should go for STEM and they should choose any skill they want. Engineering and science are very interesting. And the more you discover about it, the more you become creative and the more you are able to offer the solution to help more people. So it's quite rewarding in terms of, the meaning of life. You live with a purpose.
Both Sue Kim and Jeriza hope investment will allow their products to be rolled out across Southeast Asia and beyond, improving the lives of millions working in the fishing industry. And all the while, they're quietly fueling a gender revolution in green technology, proving the need for equality and diversity at the top table.
In science, you're creating solutions for problems. And then when you solve those problems, you're actually helping people. So it kind of feels, it's overwhelming. At the same time, you feel really grateful to be able to help those people. You're leaving a mark, really.
I'm Harriet Robinson, and you've been listening to the documentary from the BBC World Service. This was a 2 Degrees West production.